Hello and a very warm welcome to a studio here in Prague where we're at the launch of the all-new Škoda Enyaq RS and Enyaq RS Coupe. And in this video we're going to be talking about the Enyaq as a whole, the different battery sizes, the range, and most importantly, the prices in Ireland. So to begin with, let's talk about the biggest differences between the Coupe and the regular Enyaq. And essentially it is the sloping rear roofline. Now this does play a good role in making it slightly more aerodynamic, so you should get 6-7 more kilometers for a full charge in the Coupe. However, you get about an extra 15 litres boot space in the regular Enyaq. Now, in terms of batteries, well, there is a couple different battery options. There is the Enyaq 60, and that's got a 430 kilometer range. Then there's also the Enyaq 85. That's about 575 kilometers range, which is absolutely tons in the real world. Even if you see into the high 400s in the depths of the Irish winter, that's still more than enough to get you pretty much around our whole island. And then there is, of course, the Enyaq 85X, which has a little bit more power, but a little bit less range. And then as far as the RS goes, well, there's going to be about 560 kilometers range. So let's talk more specifically about the RS version, because that is the reason we're here in Prague. So the biggest, most noticeable difference, aside from the mamba green color, is the front bumper. It is quite different. You can actually see the old V down here, and then you get these black trims around it, the two fins here. I think it's one fin in the L-Rock. And just as a whole, it has a little bit more presence to it on the roads. In addition, you get these 21-inch alloy wheels. Now, as standard on the RS, it's 20-inch, but they do look brilliant. You also get matrix LED headlights, and obviously the RS badging touches throughout the car. But really, it's when it comes to driving that it's a big difference. The Enyaq RS has 335 brake horsepower. That means that it can go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in just 5.4 seconds. To put that in perspective, that is very similar to the original Ford GT. It's not just power upgrades, the RS also has a lowered sports chassis and upgraded 2-piston brakes. So on the interior, the first thing I'm noticing in this car is the infamous RS seats, which are so comfortable. But also the general layout is very Škoda, which means it is excellent. You've got your big screen here, I think it's 13-inch, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, connects up really easily. And when we do take this car for a drive down the road, we'll go a little bit more into depth with that in the future. There's also a smaller screen in front of you here, and just generally you feel like you're in a cabin, and of course it has your adjustable armrest, which I love. Now, there are two different interiors when you go for the RS. There is the lounge, which we're in here, which kind of has like a suede finish throughout and a carbon look. And then there is also the suite that has the kind of a leather seat, also again with that carbon look to it. And the biggest thing there is you can get ventilated seats in the, I suppose, the suite version, which is going to be a big attraction if you're in a hot studio like we are today. In the rear, it is very spacious. Now, my standards are high because I've just come in a Škoda Superb to this location and I had tons of legroom, but you again have loads here in the Enyaq, and actually the headspace is brilliant, especially considering you do have a panoramic sunroof there. There's of course ISOFIX points. You can also fold down this armrest to put some drinks in there. This particular one's got some heated seats, and down bottom you'll see there is some USB-C charging points, and they're actually fast charging, which is very handy to keeping the kids entertained. Practicality is everything, particularly for Škodas in Ireland. And luckily, the boot in the regular SUV, it is 585 litres, which is absolutely loads. The seats fold down. You've also got a little bit of a load cover here, and even some storage down here for your charging cables. Now, if you go for the Coupe, you're not going to lose a whole lot of boot space. It drops down to 570, but that is still absolutely massive. For context, a Volkswagen Golf has a 380 litre boot, so it is really, really big. So when it comes to charging, it is actually very fast. You're going to get about 175 kilowatts. Now, what that means is you should be able to go from 10 to 80% in around 28 minutes. Now, I know traditionally we didn't necessarily have the infrastructure in Ireland. However, just this week alone, I've been using the Apple Green chargers, the ESB fast chargers, and even the new Circle K 300 kilowatt fast chargers. So theoretically, on the main motorways, you should be able to get a quick charge, meaning you can go close to 1,000 kilometers and only stop for about 30 minutes. Last but not least, let's talk about prices. Now, they technically start at about 43,000 euros. However, my opinion would be to upgrade and go for the Enyaq 85 and spend roughly 45,000 euros. In fact, probably go for the sport line. You're gonna be a touch over 50. However, it's probably gonna be the perfect one on the Irish roads. Now, there is also gonna be obviously the RS that we've spoken about. We don't know prices as of the time of filming this, however it's estimated to be outside the grant, so over 60,000 euros. However, hopefully by the time we're editing this, I can include it here. Now, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to comment below and we'll do our best to answer it. And of course, if you'd like to search for your local Škoda dealership, then you can hit the link up there. Thank you so much for watching and we'll see you in the next one.